I can get up in front of a crowd and I can talk about like a technology, or I can give a marketing presentation or something and not think anything of it. But every time I speak about something that requires vulnerability or openness or reveals a part of my own pain to talk about healing, I still to this day, I do it and do it over and over again. But every time I typically wake up the next day physically sick in some way. And I don't mean like, I don't necessarily have like a virus, but this morning I woke up with a headache, a severe headache. I will often wake up, I have like nausea. I was super nauseous this morning. And it's pretty consistent. And this morning I woke up that way and I was really overwhelmed with all the noise in my household. And so much so I said, I'll be back. I'm going outside. And I went and I laid in the hammock and I just laid there. And I kept thinking, like, I don't like that I feel this way. Like, I don't like that every time I pour myself out in some way, in some type of artistry, whether that is speaking or drawing or writing, whenever I do those things, that I have this biological, physical reaction. And I was outside and my gaze just kind of went to the hose, because we have a hose, we play in the hose a lot at my house. And it went to the hose, and when I turned on the hose for the first time this spring, number one, it took a minute for it to come on, but then it also sort of washed some things out of the hose. Like, it was kind of full of mud. And I don't even know how it got full of mud, but hoses, if they sit in the yard for a long time, it just, stuff happens. And it can just get full of like gunk or leftover water or residue or mold or whatever it is, hopefully not mold. And so when you turn on the hose for the first time, not only does water come out of the hose, but also the residue and the gunk come out of the water too, and sometimes first. And I just felt like that was a picture of me. Some of the stuff that I'm talking about, and like the things, my heart was so, I feel like deeply wounded is such a cliche way to say that, and it feels like it just undervalues what actually happened. In my spiritual journey in particular, my heart was ripped out of my chest. It wasn't like an injury. It wasn't like a paper cut. It wasn't like, oh, you broke a bone. It felt like I was attacked by like a bear and left for dead. And I had like organs hanging out of my chest. My heart was ripped out of my body. And I really thought that would be the end. I really did. And the thing is not only did I think it would be the end, I really wanted it to be. Because when you go through any type of really severe trauma, what people don't talk about is that you often don't want to recover from it. It's not just like you don't think you will, it's that you don't actually want to come back. Sometimes the pain is too great and you just want to lay on the side of the road and die. It's like, just let me die. And how do you heal from that? How do you heal from that? And I think those are the things that I'm writing about right now. Those are the things that I'm doing a lot with right now. And it just isn't linear. Nothing about healing our hearts is linear. Nothing. And it's amazing to me how many layers there are to healing. It's like you think, oh, I've gone through all of this. I've talked it through. Like, I've cried about it. I've healed. I've moved on. And then there's just like a whole nother layer that opens up, a whole nother thing. And even though I know that that is the case, it still surprises me every time it happens. And so the truth is, like, I don't know if that will ever totally go away. I don't know if there will be a point in my life where I speak and I don't have a physical reaction afterwards, where my body actually reacts. I hope that there is a time when that's not the case. But I'll tell you, I'm not dissuaded by the reaction, because the difference is that I now know I'm able to tolerate the reaction. And a long time ago, I couldn't tolerate it. Like, that physical reaction would have knocked me to my knees for weeks. But now I know I can tolerate it and I can move through it. And I think that's what healing looks like sometimes. I think healing is oftentimes not the feeling going away. but it's actually becoming more and more comfortable sitting with the feeling. So it's similar to grief. The grief of losing someone doesn't go away. It just becomes a little easier to sit with, I think. We're a little more familiar. We're a little more comfortable. I don't really cry that often about like the experience of assault or other things that I've been through. On occasion, but not often. But that doesn't mean that I'm particularly comfortable with the weight of everything that it brings. But I know how to welcome it. I know how to be with it. I know how to go, oh, okay, that's you. That's just you. It's okay. That's just you. We are just in such a checklist style culture. We want everything to be neat and tidy. We want to be able to proceed through life like we're on some giant project plan, kicking ass on all of our milestones. And it's just like nothing about the human heart is like that. Nothing. We are flesh. We are not stone. Like timelines are measurements in stone. We just aren't that. And so as God writes his love and his word on our hearts, he said he would write his law on our hearts. It's part of the transformation of Jesus. And as he does that, it's uncomfortable, but it's good and it's loving. I love that Jesus is referred to as the great physician because really he came to heal the broken. I don't know about you, but I'm all kinds of broken. And I don't mean like at the core of my being, I believe God created me good, but I got a lot of brokenness, a lot of suffering and all kinds of stuff. And I will for the rest of my life. We all will. Aware of it or not. We need him as a doctor. And what's beautiful to me is there is no push. There is no sense of urgency to make you well. Like God will not force you without your consent. I love that. I love that every time Jesus heals, that he asks, do you want to be well? Or he notices someone's effort before he heals them. Your faith has made you well. It's like he's not going to push himself upon you. God is a gentleman, But once you say, yes, I want to be well, ointment isn't comfortable. Scar tissue isn't comfortable. Sitting in a cast isn't comfortable. It isn't comfortable, but it is deeply cleansing. So if you're in that season, if you're still healing from things in your life, if you're like, man, I've circled this wagon like a million times and here I am again, I hope you know that the ache resurfacing, sometimes the ache is mercy. Sometimes the ache of ointment is mercy. It's mercy because he won't leave you sick if you want to be well. He just won't. He just won't leave you sick. And it is mercy. And it is painful. But it is merciful, kind, and good. If you have been a part of a high demand religion, you need to know that the way of Jesus demands nothing. It costs you everything, but it demands absolutely nothing. It will never force. It will never ask you to drink the Kool-Aid, ever. It will only ask you to follow. Come and follow me. Become more like me. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. Those are the gifts that it will give. The last thing like victims of abuse need, of which I am one. That the last thing that those people need, that we need, is someone telling us that we have to sacrifice more, that we have to give more, we have to give of ourselves, that we have to lay ourselves down. And in my own experience, that just is not Jesus. It is not Jesus. It's just not. Have you ever noticed how Jesus talks so differently? Like his message is consistent, but how he talks differently depending upon who he's speaking to. I think we so want to commercialize religion and church. We just want to commercialize it. It's convenient to commercialize and to sell and to market. But it's like Jesus speaks to the person that he is in front of. Jesus speaks to the widow. Jesus speaks to the man full of pride. Jesus speaks to the broken son who's run away. Jesus speaks to the woman who's been bleeding for decades of her life and is in so much suffering and agony. Jesus speaks to the woman who is tormented by demons and oppressive forces. Jesus speaks to those individually. He doesn't give them a mass prescription. Oh, that's what it is. He doesn't give them a mass prescription. He gives them individualized attention. Individualized. But it doesn't sell. It doesn't sell to connect with the individual in front of you. To have your heart connect with theirs. To allow the Spirit of God to work through you in loving kindness to that person. It sells to be prescriptive on a mass scale. I think there are principles. Jesus taught us principles to follow, and those are mass prescriptive. But he always encounters people at the individual level. He encounters people individually. Means your story is not going to be my story. My story is not going to be your story. It means you can rest assured that the Jesus you know is Jesus. Because he encounters us individually. Like Jesus has shown up in so many unique ways in my life. I think I felt like I was always supposed to be like everybody else. He was supposed to show up to me like he did for everybody else. And I was supposed to follow it. I was supposed to be. And I just feel this sense of coming out. I really just felt like the Spirit spoke in me. I just feel like God spoke to me recently. And he has been speaking to me over and over again, saying it's time to stop walking around like a beggar, asking for everyone else's experience, asking for everyone else's insight, asking for everyone else's wisdom and guidance. It's time to act like you know me, because you do. And I felt so insecure and so beaten down by being so rejected by others that I thought knew God better than me. Others that I thought were maybe more important or more spiritually developed or had authority in a way that I did not. That I have sat in a shell and I have walked around like a beggar with my hands out. Please tell me if I'm okay. Please tell me if this is right. Please, I don't know much. You obviously know more than I do. I'm not a beggar. I know him. I said that the other day when I feel like God's drawing me out of me to talk more about the things that I know. And I said out loud, I was like, look, I don't have anything to offer. I don't know a lot of things. The only thing I have to offer is, but I know him. And I felt like the Spirit went, that's the point. That's the point. But you know me. But you know. And that's what I have to offer. I know him. I know his heart. I know his goodness. I know his love because I am soaked in it. My whole life is steeped in the loving goodness of God. Every ounce of it. Every bit of pain, every wound, every good thing that I have, every bit of it. The great physician, he meets us where we are. He individualizes our experience. And knowing him is literally the point, the whole point. Just to walk with him, to know him and to be known by him. My kids are coming out. May he multiply that in you, his love and goodness and kindness.